Today, let's talk very specifically about how you can take advantage of the weird property market in 2019. Hi, my name is Tony Daw from Your First Four Houses, and I teach people how to build a small property portfolio that generates a great income for them so they can give up the day job if they wish, because they're now financially free. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of the free content that I give you each and every week. Okay, so I want to approach this in two different parts. Firstly, I want to look at what factors are negatively influencing the property market in 2019. And secondly, perhaps more importantly, how can you use this to gain a huge advantage? So, obviously there's a number of different things that we need to consider. Probably the biggest that we're all talking about is Brexit, the economy, what's actually happening. Now, if you're watching this later in the year, I'd love you to comment below on this, but how is that going to influence the property market? Obviously, Section 24 is another biggie, sometimes known as the landlord tax. That's definitely starting to bite existing established landlords who are investing outside of a limited company and who may be fully geared up. Let's be honest, there's a real sense of decline in values as we move into 2019. I'm definitely starting to feel that. Are we going to be in a place where property values are lower towards the end of 2019? The truth is, I don't know. But I think we'd all agree there's a sense in the air that that's probably what's going to happen, and that's having an influence on buyers and sellers. There's obviously additional legislation that's being brought to bear, especially with regards to HMOs. It may be old news, but stamp duty is still impacting all purchases of second properties owned by investors. Many landlords are retiring early. They're getting to that magical age, probably the age I'm at now, and they're thinking to themselves, do I really still want to be in this property game? Or should I maybe go off and disappear off to my lovely place over in Marbella or wherever it might be? So landlords are retiring early, at least that's the feedback that I'm getting. This all means, and I think you can all acknowledge this, some negativity and uncertainty is out there in the market. So how can you use this to gain a huge advantage? And specifically, what actions should you be taking? Well, firstly, you should be using, I would suggest, the power of property options to create win-win solutions with sellers. Now, in case you're not aware, an option enables you to fix a purchase price today on a property or piece of land or whatever it might be that you can then buy at some point down the line. So you actually fix that price today. But crucially, you are not obligated to buy that property at the agreed price. So if property prices do indeed collapse, well, you can look at it at that point in the future and think to yourself, well, actually, do you know what? On reflection, I'm actually not going to proceed with this purchase. And the seller is fully aware of this from the outset. You just need to find win-win solutions that work in this regard. There's obviously a lot more to property options, and I cover all of these in my online property masterclass. Can I suggest that you need to use a pessimistic return on investment calculation when evaluating all of your deals, because I don't want you getting caught out if the market does start to slide downhill. Can I really strongly suggest that you focus on demand? It's pretty common knowledge now, isn't it? That in some areas of the country, there is perhaps a little bit of an oversaturation of rooms. And I know I've talked about this before, if of course your strategy is HMOs. Is this also going to be happening with serviced accommodation, holiday lets? I'm not so sure at this stage, but I do know, having done a lot of research on this, that in some areas there is definitely an oversaturation of rooms. So you need to focus really strongly on where there is the biggest demand. And can I suggest that is where you should be investing? I would love you to consider developing your own home, your own property, where you live. Find somewhere that you can either buy outright or maybe control on an option and move into that property and then add value. So from the outset, before you even get involved in that place, you're going to make sure there's a clear way that you can add value. You then move in. You then add that value in whatever form it's in, because there are some really big tax advantages to doing that, and please speak to your tax advisor on that point. Now, I've done this a lot of times, and it really does enable you to quickly move up the property ladder. Speaking about tax, you need to become tax efficient. And I know I've talked about this before, but so many people don't do it. What they see is that they've got to pay an accountant, 100, 200, 300 quid, whatever it might be, for some really good advice. And they think, well, I don't want to spend that 100, 200, 300 quid or whatever it might be. That's a big mistake, can I very respectfully suggest. Go and spend that money. Speak to a competent, property savvy accountant. It will be the best money, in my opinion, that you will ever spend. You need to connect with existing landlords who are, as we mentioned earlier, perhaps retiring just a little bit earlier. There's some wonderful opportunities to put in front of them win-win solutions that work firstly for them, but also make it a really wonderful deal for you. Lastly, cash flow is king. You need a good cash flow to offset some of these major tax changes that are actually taking place. If you educate yourself, now could be an incredible time to find outstanding deals. And so please, please, please get out there and take a ton of action, because this could be the year that you become financially free. In my online property masterclass, I teach you everything I know about property investing. And so to find out if this course could benefit you, why not book a 10-minute call by clicking here, and that way I can answer any questions you have either about my course or my one-to-one coaching program.